Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
When Rabbi Oberstein asked me to give the shiur, I said right away that I want to do it. Because I feel like it's a schus for me that people come the one day off they have, Sunday, and the first thing they do is come and learn. I feel like it's my schus. Okay, so this week's parsha is Parshas Balak, and everyone knows a famous story with Bilam and Balak that he hired him to curse Klal Yisrael because he was scared that he was going to lose the Milchama, and the whole back and forth. And there's one fascinating thing that happens in the parsha. What does the pasuk say? The pasuk says, "Vayiftach Hashem es pia asing." When Bilam was coming to come and curse Klal Yisrael, Hashem opened up the mouth of the donkey, and he started talking to Bilam, which is an ace nigla, that Hashem made a donkey talk. So the Mishnah of it says that there's 10 things that were created. Famous Mishnah. There was 10 things that were created. Erev Shabbos bein hashmashes. What were they? The Mishnah says like this: Perek Hey, Mishnah Vav, Asara Dvarim Nivru be'erev Shabbos. There was 10 things that were created on Erev Shabbos bein hashmashes, right before Shabbos came in. Ve'eluhein Pia Aretz, the mouth of the earth when Korach got swallowed, Upia Be'er, and the mouth of the Be'er of Miriam that they had the whole time in the Midbar until she was Niftaris, and this past week's parsha. And then we have the Pia Asain, which is what our parsha discusses. Va'akeshes, and the rainbow, V'haman, and the man that they had in Mitzrayim, V'hamata, V'hashamir. The shamir is what they used to build the base of Mikdash, to cut all those heavy stones. So we have 10 things that Hashem created bein hashmashes on Erev Shabbos, and a lot of them have to do with the recent parashas that we have in the Midbar, and we have one in Parshas Balak also, that Hashem created that the donkey was able to talk. So Rabbi Yaakov Kamenetsky asks that what's the inyan that Hashem dafka made these 10 things bein hashmashes? Why did Hashem make? He couldn't have made it with the rest of the bria, with the 6 days that Hashem created the world. And you could also add that why did he feel like at that moment that's the right time, bein hashmashes, right before Shabbos, Hashem created these 10 things? So he says that the teretz is that we know that there's a lot of different groups in the world. There are some groups in the world that feel that no one created the world. There's a Big Bang or whatever theory you want to come up with. The world is here somehow and it just keeps on going. So we're not going to discuss that. And it could be that if people think that the world wasn't created by Hashem, there's nothing that what's going to open up their eyes to realize that Hashem did create the world. But we're not going to discuss. But he says then there's another group. There's another group that Rishonim already speak about, that there are people that know that Hashem created the world, but once Hashem created the world, then it just goes on its own. It was created so perfectly, and everything just makes sense, and it keeps on going by itself. So in a way, it's very understandable. Every day we wake up, we go to sleep, and some days it's sunny, some days it's rainy, and every day the world keeps on going, and it looks like there's nothing behind it. So that's why Hashem created a certain. So Rabbi Yaakov says that's why Hashem created these 10 things, to show that there's going to be nisim, that to show us that every single day it's Hashem that's running the world, and it's not just going by itself. And so therefore Hashem created these 10 brias all by themselves that we should realize that if someone Chas Shalom starts thinking that maybe the world is going by itself, it should wake us up, and we should realize that that's not so, and it's really Hashem that's doing everything. And it could be that that's the reason why Hashem made it bein hashmashes Erev Shabbos, that after the world was actually finished and everything just looked so perfect, and that's when the group could have started thinking this way right at that moment. Right before Shabbos came in, the world was 100% in its totality, that it just looks perfect and everything is wonderful. So at that moment, Hashem created these 10 things to show that no, it's me that's running the world, and that's why Hashem made 10 special things right at the end of the Bria Ha'olam. So I want to expound a little bit on Nisim and Nisim Negluim and Nisim Nistarim. So we also have in Parshas Chukas. So the question is, what's the taich of a nes? What does a nes mean? What's the shayrish of the word? So we have in last week's parsha at the end of the Magefa, when the Magefa was happening in Parshas Chukas. So Hashem said to Moshe, "Say l'chaserav, make a snake, v'sim oisay ala nes, and put it on a stick. V'hoya kol andoshach, and anyone who got bitten, v'ra oisay, and they'll see it v'chay, and they'll live." So Hashem said, "V'sim oisay al nes, you should put it on a stick." So it seems that the taich of a nes is a stick, which you have to understand. What does a stick have to do? We refer to Nisim as that Hashem makes Nisim all day, and and we see Nisim from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So the taich is that that when you put something on a stick, when you make an advertisement and you put up a big sign, it's a sign. The sign is that there's something happening. So when Hashem makes a nes, Hashem is waking us up to realize that something's going on. Hashem is giving us a message that we have to be makir, that Hashem is running the world. So this is the message of Nisim, that Hashem makes Nisim once in a while, that we should be makir. Sometimes when life just continues in its regular way, it's hard to realize that Hashem is the one that's running the world, and we have to realize that even without the Nisim, on a day-to-day basis, Hashem is the one that's running the world. And so I was thinking that maybe that's the reason every night by Mariv, and the way the Yiddish days work is that the day starts at night. So the first bracha that we say every night by Mariv, of course we're praising Hashem, that Hashem is the one that makes day and night. But so what do we say? We say Asher b'dvarei, with Hashem's words, Mariv Aravim. He brings the night, b'chachma, and with his wisdom, Pesach Sha'arim, he opens up the gates, b'svuna, Mishani Itim, he changes the times. Mishani Itim is the seasons maybe. Amachlef Esazmanim, he changes the times. Misada Sakechavim, and he's the one that puts he's Misada the stars, and so on and so forth. He takes out the light in front of the dark, and the dark in front of the light. So the first bracha that we're saying is that the teva of the world, it's really Hashem, and we're praising Hashem, that Hashem is the one who does it. But this is the way we start off a new day every single day. We praise Hashem for that He's the one who makes the day and He makes the night, and so on and so forth. And it could be that the reason why Chazal made it that's the way we should start off our new day is that we should realize that I think the easiest thing to look away from, that it's not Hashem who's doing it, maybe is day and night, because that's the way the world goes. First it's night, and then it's day, and then back and forth every single day. That happens. So it's the easiest thing to think, like, okay, so that's just the way the world is running. So it could be Chazal put this as the first bracha, that we should realize that the thing that seems the most tavadika thing in the world, it's really Hashem who's doing it. And once we realize that, at the end of the bracha we finish off, Keil Chai V'Kayim, Hashem is the one who's alive. Talmid Yim Loich Aleinu Le'olam V'ed. Once we realize that Hashem is the one who makes day and night, then we could say, oh, Keil Chai V'Kayim, we could be Mamlech Hashem, that we are Hashem's servants. We also say, and similarly, we also say every morning in the bracha of Yotzer Or, that we say like this: Hamachadesh b'tuvei b'chol yom tamid mas b'reishis. Hashem is the one, Hashem makes new in His goodness every single day the Bria Ha'olam. So the Pashut Pshat in these words are that every single day Hashem could decide, should there be a world today or should there not be a world today. And every single day it's a new Bria. It's not just today is yesterday's Bria. Today is only today. We only have the world today because Hashem decided that today there should still be the world. and therefore that's what we're saying. Every single day Hashem is mechadish. He makes new. He makes new betuva in His goodness because it's only with Hashem's decision. Every day Hashem makes a decision. Should there be a world today, or should there not be a world today?
It'll never get rid of the world.
What?
By Noah, with the rainbow and everything, it'll never destroy the world again.
I hear, but I don't know what the answer is. It's a good question. But that's what we say. We say Hashem is mechadish betuva b'chol yom tov ma'aseh b'reishis. Chazal put this in the davening, and that's what it means. So really, the Ramban, there's the most yesodistic Ramban in the end of Parshas Boi, who discusses this at great length when he's speaking about all the nisim that Hashem did at Yetzias Mitzrayim. So I just want to share a few different parts of what he says inside. Now I'm going to tell you the ruling and many of the reasons of all the mitzvahs, because he says once it started that there was people that started serving avodah zarah in the world, there were different camps of different people who had different thoughts in the world, that they started messing up our emunah in Hashem. Mehem kaifer be'ikr. There are those that were kaifer be'ikr. Va'imrim ki ha'olam kadmain. That the world was the first thing that was ever here, and there was no one who created it. Kachshu ba'Hashem, and they denied Hashem. Va'yomru lohu, and they said He never was. And then there are those machishim b'diyasei hapratis. There are those that denied the idea that Hashem is the one that's ruling the world every day. How do you know that there's Hashem and that He's the one who's running the world? Okay, so that's what he says.
Doesn't it mean that they're saying that Hashem doesn't know what's going on down here? The idea of practice is saying that Hashem just created the world, just He has no awareness.
Yeah.
Isn't that what he's saying?
Okay, yeah. I said not like that?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Like that.
Yeah, no, I'm saying that, tell me if you understand differently, that Hashem is the one who made the world, but from now on, everything just goes the way He created it, and we don't need, and it's not Hashem who's saying that Newman should breathe now.
It runs on its own.
Right, it runs on its own. Okay. So then he says, Ukasher yirtza alekim, and when Hashem wants be'eda in a congregation, or b'yachid, or in a single person, b'yasa imahem meifes b'shinei minhagei shel olam b'tivei. Hashem will make a great nace in that's something that goes against the tava of the world, to show Him that I am the one who's running the world, and to bring him closer to Hashem. And that's what happened by Mitzrayim. Hashem was being Mekayr of Klal Yisrael to him, and Hashem made nisim that there never were. And the whole point was, in order that we should realize that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the one who made the world, and He's running the world, and He continues to run the world. And when He does that, Yisparer l'chol bittul hadeyis ha'elu kulam. Then it comes out that Hashem is going to He nullifies all these ideas that people have, because it's not possible that there's no one running the world if Hashem made such great nisim. Ki ha'meifes hanifla meir sheyesh la'olam mechadashay v'yodea mashkiach v'yachol. Like we said, okay, so that's what he says. So, and therefore he says, that's why we have so many mitzvahs that are zeicher liyetzias Mitzrayim. They should all be for us as a sign throughout all the generations, that we shouldn't forget them. And there shouldn't be any place for a kaifer to deny the emunah that we have in Hashem. And yeah. And then he goes on and says, and that's the reason why if someone eats chametz on Pesach, that's why there's a chi of kares. Meaning, some averis, it's very understandable why there's such a strong punishment if someone serves avodah zarah, or if someone is over one of the arayos, if someone kills someone. So that's very understandable. Anyone could tell you, yeah, that's deserving of death. But why should eating chametz on Pesach be such a chamer d'ka'inyan? It seems like such a slight thing. Okay, so you ate chametz on Pesach. We know that it's obviously one of the most. We know that how stringent this avera is, but what should be the reasoning behind it? If someone forgets to make a bracha before he eats, so he's going to die because he, or if someone, let's say, eats treif chas v'shalom one time, so he's chayav misa because he ate treif. This is, you ate the wrong thing. So by eating chametz, so he says that that's the reason why, because Pesach, the whole Pesach is that to realize that Hashem is the one that created the world and He runs the world. And if on that Yom Tiv, which the whole Yom Tiv, the whole idea of the Yom Tiv is to realize that we're avadim to Hashem, because through all His nisim we had this understanding, and you go against the mitzvah of that Yom Tiv, that's the major avera, because this is the whole shirish, this is the whole background of Yiddishkeit. And if you're not going to do the mitzvahs that Hashem gave us on that special Yom Tiv, that it's to you like you're being kaifer baker. And therefore you have a chi of kares if someone, chas v'shalom, would eat chametz on purpose on Pesach. And then he ends off. And when from the nisim, these massive nisim that Hashem made, adam meide b'nisim hanistarm. Then, once one realizes that it's Hashem who made these great nisim, then he sees that in the day-to-day life, in the nisim nistarim, that Hashem is the one who did it. Shehem yisayid haTorah kula. She'ein la'adam chelik b'teres Hashem. A person does not have a portion in Hashem's Torah, b'teres Moshe Rabbeinu, ad she'na'aman b'chol devareinu u'mekreinu shekulam nisim. Ein behem tava u'minhagei shel olam. Someone does not have a portion in the Torah until he realizes that everything Hashem does is nisim. You're right. Hashem made nisim in a way that it looks like this is the normal way that the world should be going. But everything that Hashem does is a great nice. So this is the Yisayid. The Yisayid is that Hashem makes great nisim in order for us to realize that everything in the world is really nisim, and everything that Hashem does is from Hashem. And therefore that's what we're saying, that Hashem made these 10 things ben hashmash. So I don't know how to put these two things together, but these 10 things that were created ben hashmashes and all the nisim that Hashem did in Mitzrayim was for us to realize that through the nisim Hashem is the one that through the nisim hamufursamim we have to realize that all the tava in the world is also from Hashem. So I just wanted to end off with one last word, and then I'll say a story, a personal story that happened to me, to finish off this union. We say 3 times a week in davening in the Shir Shel Yom of Shabbos. We say, Magadu Masach Hashem, how great is the works of Hashem, and Hashem's thoughts are so deep. Ish bar la yeda, an empty person doesn't realize them. And a fool doesn't either understand it. So the psukim seem to be a pella. We're praising Hashem, that Hashem is so deep that even a fool doesn't understand what Hashem does. Like if the pasuk would have said that the greatest philosopher in the world can't even understand Hashem, so that's the biggest praise, because the biggest geniuses in the world can't even understand Hashem's thoughts and Hashem's doings. But if the pasuk says that, oh, Hashem is so deep that an empty person and a fool can't understand Hashem, so that doesn't sound like praise at all. It sounds the opposite. So I forgot who I heard this part from, but whoever it was, one of the Gedolim, not from long ago, maybe it was one of the Telzer Rashi Yeshivas, I don't remember. He says the pasuk saying the opposite, that Hashem is so deep that He even left a place in the world that people could be so foolish not to realize that Hashem is the one who's running the world. So that's what we're saying. There are even people in the world that are empty, and there are even fools in the world that can't understand it, because Hashem made that the whole teva of the world, like this vart that Rabbi Kamenetsky was saying, that Hashem left this makom in the world that people could just think, oh, today's a rainy day, okay, I guess it's raining. Tomorrow's going to be sunny, okay, Hashem made a sunny day. That's not so that's what Hashem left for. That's where Hashem left the makom that it's not so clear. But our work in this world is that it should be clear. And the Ramban is saying that that's the reason why there's so many mitzvahs that are Zecher Yitzias Mitzrayim, and every single day there's a mitzvah of Zecher Yitzias Mitzrayim twice a day in Shema. At the end of Shema we have to remember Yitzias Mitzrayim, and because every single day we need this chizuk, because the world is so perfect and it just looks like everything, until Chas V'Shalom someone has a tzara, or maybe if someone gets a new job and is making double the amount that they had until now, so then we're all of a sudden realize, oh wow, Hashem did something for us. But on a regular daily basis it's very hard to realize, because Hashem Taka made the world so perfect. So 4 years ago during El, I lived in Lakewood. I don't know, anyone here was in Lakewood before? There's a lake smack in the middle of Lakewood, and there's two roads that you can get around the lake. There's North Lake and South Lake. So both of these roads are very curvy roads. And I was driving like a mensch. I wasn't driving fast. But it happens to be that I was driving. The road was a drop wet, and all of a sudden my car started spinning out of control. And right to the left of the road, there's an embankment that goes straight into the lake. And there's trees all over it. It was a scary situation. And my car spun around twice, I think at least twice, and it just ended up on the other direction of the road. And when the car stopped spinning, on each side of me there was a line of cars that were just waiting for me to stop spinning, and I continued driving. So really, we were on the way to my in-laws to pick up my son. My mother-in-law was babysitting, and we didn't say anything at that point. But like later in the day, my wife called my mother-in-law and she told her the story that happened, this Nes Nigla that Hashem did for us. And my mother-in-law asked her, could you tell me the exact time that the story happened? So they tried to figure it out. It was around 2 o'clock, fine. So my mother-in-law told her that you won't believe it. I had this inner feeling that was so real that something was happening to my wife and I, that at that moment it was such a real feeling, she started saying Tehillim because she felt that there was something wrong. So Hashem made it. I don't understand how, why, but this was happening to us, and Hashem made it that my mother-in-law should have this feeling. She happens to be a very holy lady. It happens to be, but Hashem made it at that exact moment. She was saying Tehillim for us, and it could be that's the only reason why we were saved. Her tefillas, it could be it saved us at that moment. Who knows what could have happened? So that's what the Ramban said. The Ramban said that Hashem makes nisim to a whole congregation or to a yachid, in order for them to realize that Hashem is the one who creates the world. And the truth of the matter is that you don't need the biggest nace for someone to realize. Of course, big nisim will always shake you up more. But just the smallest thing, if you would realize in the day-to-day life, the smallest things that happen, I can't think of a simple example, but there's so many simple things that happen every single day that we could realize that Hashem loves you and Hashem is the one that did it, and through that could starken our emunah, and therefore we could serve Hashem better.
Good.